Jeb Bush is looking at 2016. Today he gave a very typical commencement speech. It was filled with life lessons for the students at the University of South Carolina. But the bigger John Ellis Bush moment came in an interview that aired Sunday on Miami's ABC affiliate WPLG. It was a long interview in which Bush said he'd make public 250,000 emails from his time as governor. He was also asked about his business dealings, as reported by our colleague Josh Green last week, including the private equity pies in which Bush has stuck his fingers. This was Bush's response about a potential Mitt Romney problem.
We're creating jobs, we're expanding business. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I think that practical experience is something that might be useful in Washington, D.C., to be honest with you, where it's all in this bubble.
All right, John, what does this long tour de force Jeb Bush interview tell us about his prospects for 2016?
Well, I don't think that answer is particularly compelling, and I think he is going to, in fact, have a Mitt Romney problem, at least on some dimension, if he decides to run. But this performance was, and I know you're going to have a lot more to say about it, but was kind of a tour de force. He was great, and he really came across very. He's a towering figure in this party compared to the other people he's running against.
When I tweet about how strong he is, not just as a general election candidate, but as a nomination candidate, all the haters hate all over him.
Yeah.
He is the class of the field if he runs. He is not a perfect candidate, but his fundraising strength, his ability to answer policy questions in an accessible way. These other guys, even Mitt Romney, who's run for president twice, I don't think is close to Jeb Bush in terms of the skills you need to get elected, including appealing to the other party.
Well, I think that is true. Unfortunately, as we all know, here's the thing, this is going to be a trite thing to say, but he's got to get through that nomination process. And he's been talking a lot about that recently, saying you got to be willing to lose the nomination in order to win the general election. That's a smart insight. Now the question is, can he actually stick to that and make the hard choices? Because this is an environment in this interview that is kind of tailor-made for him, where he can be smart and wonky, and he's not in a hostile environment. He's not facing the far right wing of the Republican Party. I want to see him in that environment before we know we know he's rusty, right? But this was a good start. There's no doubt about that.
He was so smooth and self-possessed in that interview. Again, is he perfect? No. But if you list his flaws compared to everybody else's, I've been trying to figure out just how formidable a fundraiser he'll be. Will he dominate the field if he gets in? I think that's still not clear. But that performance and his overall relationship to this concept of electability and uniting the country, strong with donors.
And here's the other thing is he has ideas. And having ideas actually really matters in terms of running for and winning the office of presidency, it turns out. We'll find out more about the donor thing a little later.